Welcome. Today I am going to be sharing our process of planning and organizing some things, and I got my son a planner. I'm going to share a little bit of that with you. Also, we did a slow start, so we've already started, but in the process of that, I started rethinking some things. So I want to share that with you as I go back and share some of the planning. Welcome to Learning with Boys. My name is Rachel. I am a homeschool mom of 4 boys. I have graduated 2, and this school year I will have a 7th grader and another senior. Today I am probably going to mainly just focus on my 7th grader. My 12th grader will be doing a few things with me, but mostly dual credits. But I do want to let you know that I do have planning videos from his high school earlier years, 9th, 10th, 11th grade, and I will link high school videos below if you are interested. But in this planning process with my 7th grader and starting this new curriculum, I was starting to plan out things and looking through his Heart of Dakota book, because that is where a bulk of our curriculum comes from, and I realized I don't know if we're going to be able to do all this. This is really starting to look like a lot. So, in my planner, I decided to even slow the process, slow the start even more so. So the first week was just English and math. And then we're going to jump in to almost everything else. Now, it's not going to be everything that I mentioned on my curriculum pick video, so let me talk about that a little bit, but let me back up and just show you some of my planning and really just organizing, and let me share some of that with you. Okay, as I begin to go through his planner and mark dates and start filling it in for his curriculum for his first, full official week, I'm really thinking this looks like a lot. So I'm cutting back. I'm going to show you that here a little bit towards the end of the video, what I'm going to hold off on for a little while. But I do want to give you a thought that even with an open and go curriculum, which I feel like we have, Heart of Dakota is great about that. Even this new living language arts from Master Books seems pretty open and go. But as the parent teacher, it is important that you know what is going to be expected. Do you need note cards? Do you need a notebook? Do you need a 3-ring binder? Do you need to print anything off? And those are all things that I have to have done beforehand for the open and go process to work. So I just want to encourage you, if you are about to plan or in the middle of the planning process, to not forget those steps. Okay, one part of the process of planning is not just the writing out in their planner, but it's actually putting everything together and having it accessible to the student and also to the teacher. So I do have some things that I had to print out for my son, and that was for his geography from Heart of Dakota. He is using Revival to Revolution this school year, which is early American history. I'm very excited because this is the first year that I have used this guide with any of my boys. It's somewhat of an older version, so now I think you order the book itself. But I have the CD, had no problem printing it off, and now I am sort of separating it. I didn't even think about this. I just printed it off in order, but I found on the Facebook group, Heart of Dakota, Revival to Revolution, someone had set it up where you could see what maps were actually being used for what week. So instead of weeks, it's called units. So in unit 1, what maps you would need. So I am just organizing it in that way. So when he opens his notebook, he's to the map he will need for week 1 and then week 2 in that order. And it's not the order you printed it out. So this was so helpful, but it took a little bit of time to figure it out. And then I'm going to hole punch, and that's another thing. Make sure you have the tools that you need. I'm going to go ahead and hole punch these and put them in a 3-ring binder. And then I'm going to put the answer key, which is the color-coded copy. And I'll show you all that when I give you a little bit more look into Heart of Dakota and the curriculum he's using for his history. But I'm going to put that in page protectors, but I'm just going to put it in the back of the same notebook because he'll need that when he is doing his geography. So that is just something I'm working on now. It did take a little bit of time, but I wanted to share that process with you. Okay, here is his Revival to Revolution notebook. Just giving you a quick peek in that. I pulled it out because I was thinking I would put his geography maps in the back of it, but once I got started, I realized, ooh, this is not going to be enough room, but I did have another notebook, so that will work out. Okay, here's a quick peek at the geography. These are the answer keys and the student pages, so they'll just fill out those according to the answer key. And here I am just sticking the teachers in the sleeves. I did speed this up for you a little bit, but just showing you a little bit of the process and the time that it takes just for this geography notebook. But it'll be nice that it is complete and thankful found the information so it can be in order. I do want to give you a peek at his planner. I mentioned that I just picked this up at Walmart. I have used the planners from Mardell for my high schooler, which I really like, and I may go to. It's hard because usually when you get them at Walmart, sometimes you can't find the exact one. I did go ahead and put these little tabs in here for each month and just the dates. So there is like an August calendar in here, and then it jumps into the weeks. So I'm actually starting this week. The 5th is when he's already done a slow start. So when he starts, I'm not even putting in the lessons for grammar and math. I have Bible Truth 1. I'm hoping he'll get, I had gone through the book, and I will show you that and put what I hope to have done in day 1, day 2, day 3. We also have scripture memory each week, so I'm just putting that at the top, and this is a new goal of mine is to have him be able to write it out at the end of the week. We always have them recite the verse, but I don't know if I feel like I have with my older boys. Sometimes you lose track of what you've done, but I thought this would be a good year to work on that, as not just writing and memorizing the Bible verse, but it will help in like note taking and spelling and things like that. So he's going to go over that each day, have grammar and math and Bible, and then science. Now, with my Heart of Dakota book, and I think I'm going to do that in a different video. I'm really going to show you how that's laid out and how helpful that is. But he'll be able to go and read the instructions, detailed instructions in the guide. And so he'll just have to look at the science box. There's a box for each of these words that I have written down. And then there's a box here with Mom. We'll do story time together. That is all listed in the Heart of Dakota guide. And on some days you might have a timeline. Yeah, timeline, and then a research, geography, and things like that. So it's going to look different. And really, I've only gotten this 1 week out. And that is because of what I originally had planned. And let me show you that. Okay, here is the Heart of Dakota guide, and in the back of it, which I was really thinking about doing this school year, I thought we can do this. Let's do that this school year. And that is their, one of them was their poetry, which I still struggle with because I'm almost tempted just to get a book, like a poetry book, and go through that. But dictation, and that is what I was hoping to do with him this school year, level 7, do some dictation. So right now, I feel like what I have listed out is a lot, and you'll probably see that when I do like maybe a 6-week review or something like that. I'll go over exactly how much work he is doing. But for the grammar, I just put grammar because I asked him, what does he want me to call? Let me show you this book. And he understood when he sees that word that it's this book. So I'm like, if that's what he wants to call it, it's better that he looks at that word and knows what that is. So that's what I mean by grammar. There's just a lot more in there than I had expected, but I don't know yet. I feel like it's pretty solid, and I've only done a week, so we'll see how that goes. So I think I'm going to hold off on the dictation, and that is something I really was thinking, oh, we're going to do that this school year. And right now, I mean, unless I feel like this isn't enough, or oh, we can add some more, which sometimes happens halfway through the school year. Like they mature and they grow and they're ready for a little bit more work. So we'll see how that goes. So that's one thing that I'm not going to at least start or put in the planner right now. And of course we have Fix It, which I think I'm still definitely going to finish because it is not a lot. I mean, it is only one sentence a day. And he is like, I think on 18, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So it's not that much, and I think the review will be good for him. But I'm not ready to schedule it in yet. I might wait a 4-week, like into September. And then also this I am not adding in yet, which is the spelling from IEW. And I was going to use this, just going to let you know. It's like a little spiral. Somebody had mentioned this, and I thought it was such a great idea, as they can write the words out and then spell them correctly on the other side. So I had this for him. I have it all ready. But I think I'm going to wait maybe 4 weeks, maybe into September, maybe even 6 weeks. I'm not sure. And then I don't see myself not adding these two back in. I just don't think I would do all 3. So we'll see. Like I said, it really depends on how I feel this is going. He seemed to do well with it. He didn't have a problem with it. So I am excited about that. But then I'm like, oh, I don't want it to be so much that he dreads school every day. And if he's learning, I mean, he did a lot of writing this past week and I was impressed. So, that is a big step. And I'm happy with big steps without overwhelming somebody. So that is sort of my mindset and my thought process through that. Okay, now I have got to clean off this cart. This is where we store what he will be using at the time. We do have a lot of his books on an upper shelf there. You actually cannot see it in this video, where I keep, since we use so many living books, I don't pull everything out onto the cart just as he's using them. So I'm going to set up this cart for books that we are using now. Trying to decide on what can go where. I love this cart. I got it from Michael's. It does not hold like 3-ring binders on the bottom 2 shelves though, so I do end up laying some things down flat. It actually worked out fine. It was his map work, his notebook for Heart of Dakota, and also his 50-state study, which is more of a spiral. So just continuing to set this up. The top shelf is actually all of my stuff, and I have this sped up for you. I wish I actually thought this fast, but I'm doing this a little slower. But I start getting it all fixed up, but then realize I really want this cart to be completely his. The last couple years I have used the top for some of the teacher's guides and things like that, but his brother has his own cart and used it for himself. So I decide that I'm going to take off all of my stuff and we'll be adding his readers, which is like more of his history living books. So that is what I'm getting ready to do, and I'll share the cart and his Heart of Dakota curriculum in another video. All right, so I hope this video gave you some thoughts about there is no wrong way in planning and starting school. And I think for me, it wasn't even so much the planning that made me rethink how much maybe I was doing too much. It was actually the slow start when I started this new curriculum that I really wasn't familiar with, and I realized how much time and some of his energy it was going to put into that curriculum, which I'm excited about. So sometimes when you're trying something new, it is good to have a slow start and see how things go, see how much time different things are going to take, even before you really start scheduling it out. So, like I said, there's no wrong way, but it is good to take your time and sort of figure the balance out of everything. And I know I've heard lots of homeschool moms say this, but when my boys were little, it usually took probably a good 3 weeks before I found a schedule to really settle into when I had all my kids, because just balancing and figuring out what I was going to do with so-and-so during certain times. And so I hope that encourages you, because it does take a few weeks in the beginning of each school year to figure that out. So, all right, I do appreciate you all watching. If you enjoy homeschool content, please join us by subscribing. And if this video is helpful in any way, give it a thumbs up. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. We will talk to you again soon.